All right, we've switched up the whiteboard. It's time for the parameters. It's time for the actual measurements and the values regarding certain business models selling domain names and websites. You got all that? Well, as you remember, we were speaking about how to sell a domain name, how to sell a website, and even furthermore, how to find domain names based on popular keywords, or building and being creative and building your own brand name, okay? So assuming you've seen the other two videos, they should be above this one, we are going to start to talk about what you see here to the sides, keywords and brands. What these are, really simply put, they're extensions, okay? You have your keyword like get your ex back, right? You try get your ex back store. You try get your ex back shop, get your ex back website, get your ex back training, and then along with training, I also put strategy as a little mental note because that's a whole nother list of info products, how to do things. You can try training, strategy, school, consultant. You can use a lot of different educational type of words for info products, education products, okay? I put consultant here separately as well because consultant is a little bit different than training and strategy, but of course, you know, when you're with certain niches, you might really want to try all of those different extensions to see if they're available, okay, regarding the info products, and then realizing the difference between all of them. They're all very different from each other. Even training and strategy is different. For instance, strategy is more of a focusing on one thing and coming up with a plan. Training it refers to, and what people usually would, if they're searching for training, they're looking for a whole collection, you know, similar to this, a collection of videos, a collection of instructional material. Okay, so of course you can use that. You can do instructional material, tutorial. You get the drift. Okay, there's tons of those types of keywords. All right, going off on a tangent on that because you know that's my thing. Next, consultant, database, review, ebook, download, videos, program, buy, service, and for hire. So with whatever your niche is, if it's dog training for hire, dog training service, dog training program, dog training videos, they're extensions, okay? Now for the brand names, this is pretty cool. This is also, when I'm looking for a brand name, these are the extensions I try. I try to see if they're available. If I was gonna do, you know, music lessons, I might try Music Lesson Pro, Music Lesson Master, Music Lesson King, Music Lesson City, Music Lesson Now, E-Music Lessons, I-Music Lessons, Universe Music, Music Lesson Universe, sorry. Some of these you put afterwards. Music Lesson Rocket or Rocket Music, Music Lesson Fire, Music Lessons 365, Music Lessons 24/7 or 24/7 Music Lessons. Crazy Music Lessons, Online Music Lessons or Music Lessons Online, Music Lessons Net Music or Music Net, or Music Lessons Market, or I don't really like Market for music lessons, but a lot of those sounded freaking good. You guys should, you know, see if they're all available. You're gonna steal all my domain names, but that's the idea, and you could do that with any niche, okay? Maybe you guys didn't think of that, but we're just getting started. Don't worry, that's not the whole thing. But this is all. It's a measurement. It's a measurement thing. I mean, obviously, if you're in a car, right, and you're driving stick, you hear that engine, you know when to shift. You know, in some cars are different. You shift, like in my Aston Martin, you shift when it's up at 6. You know, I mean, in a Honda or something, no, you don't want to do that. You shift it like 3 or 4, you know. But, you know, in different, so you get an idea of like the parameter for the Aston Martin, or, you know, the parameter for a domain name based on a keyword that gets, you know, or traffic or the amount of sales it gets. It's going to be different, okay? And that's where people mess up, is they don't know these parameters, okay? So considering that you find something, let's start with the keyword domain names. we find a really good keyword like that's available with GoDaddy, you know, or let's just start. Let's start with, we find a good keyword that has a lot of searches, and you know, maybe medium competition is perfect. You know, high competition, Google is stupid. The keyword tool is stupid because there used to be this max bid tool, which I loved, and there's tons of other, you know, max bid. You know, it tells you the actual monetization, the commercial intent. There's a commercial intent tool. But you know, to tell you the truth, I never really use it because they just have common sense. You know, I mean, obviously, if there's products for, you know, if a keyword is you know, a keyword where there's like, you know, $10,000 products, I'm on it. You know, I mean, if it's like live mixing board, come on, it's awesome. You know, and then you look at the you know, the commercial intent, because you know, or even this is a better commercial intent, music, live, or pro audio store. You know, come on, that's like big money. That's huge monetizable, crazy commercial intent. If it's I put all the high commercial intent keywords down here, like buy, service, for hire, consultant. Come on, huge, and they're going to be much more competitive. It's harder to find them, and if you're going to advertise, it's a lot more expensive than if you were just using Get Your Ex Back or something. The minute you put those in there, that's when people are, you know, that's when people are going to be competing with you for that, you know, and that's when the bids, when people are, you know, in Google AdWords and people are bidding against you, they're going to be bidding like, you know, well, I want to be number one, so, you know, if I'm, you know, bidding 50 cents and I'm at number 7, damn, I got to, you know, bid more. I do 75, see if I get, you know, number 3. I do 75, I'm like at number 3. Based on the quality score, I might, you know, rise in rank, but all right. So anyway, look. So back to the parameters in the middle. Okay. Remember, if you have your domain, if you bought a domain by itself, now don't worry about which one because this is all the same. In fact, I even kind of used the brand name thing, you know, like the worst case scenario, you know, like think of some really dumb brand name, right? So not based on really searches yet, which I put here based on the keyword. We'll get into that. I just really used a bare bones, you know, similar to that domain name I sold in the webinar. So if I bought a really dumb brand name domain name, you could sell a package of 10 of them for $200. That's more realistic than putting some dumb domain name without a logo or without a site or anything up and saying, hey, give me 20 bucks. You won't sell it. I'll tell you right now, it's not going to sell. Even though it's just 20 bucks, you just added $8 more. There's no real point for someone to do that. It's not a keyword. It doesn't really have any advantages. It's just like, thanks. I mean, maybe not. For instance, if you got base lessons, or if you got fishing, pro fishing, that's you know, but then it becomes more of a keyword, and it's something that people are actually, you know, then it's in this territory. So that's the thing. I mean, if it's a really obscure brand name like you know, Bass Fishing Master, well, that's pretty cool too, you know. Let me think of a real, it's hard to think of a bad one, right? I'll just think of like a million words and put them together just as an example. Aura Light Fixing. Okay, that doesn't make any sense at all. AuraLightFixing.com. All right? You know, you try to sell that, people would be like, you're an idiot. You know, I mean, I'm just being honest with you, you know? So, but the ones I was thinking about, were actually easier for me to think of, were like Bass Fishing Master, and it's for you too. I'm not saying I'm special, okay? I didn't mean to come across like that. You probably at the same time are probably coming up with tons of ideas right now. So that's for the basic thing. I say sell them all at, you know, for $200. So then it's 20 bucks each domain. You're giving someone a good deal, and they're appreciating you, and they're like, oh, thanks for doing the work for me. All right, yes, I like that idea. Or you could do 5 of them for $100, and the listing fee, probably just the profit margin isn't that good, but you'll make a little bit more than, you'll cover the listing fee and you'll cover the amount that you spent on the domains, okay? Because it's like $50 for, I think, $60, and then, $20, and yeah, so profit margin's not that good, but if you could do that, and $100 would go easier than $200, obviously. So it's worth a try. I've never done $100 though. I'm just bringing this up because one time I did $200 on eWealth, and I was able to sell 10 domains for $200, and they were brandable domains. I didn't know about keyword domains yet. All right, so also you can do what I did, add a logo, and then you could sell one domain name, one brandable domain name for $100, okay? Maybe more if it's a really cool brand, of course, when it becomes such a cool brand that it becomes actually a keyword and that people are actually searching, usually if it's a little smaller. So you add a logo or an HTML page, a little template, and you could probably try to get $100. Probably take you, once you get good at it, take you about 45 minutes to do a logo, either using the free Photoshop app on Google, search for it, free Photoshop or graphic design app. Just type that into Google, you'll find it. It's you can export a JPEG, and that would be your logo. That would be the logo you create. But actually, of course, real Photoshop is much better. All right, so next step, you want to make a little more money, then you do your research and you get a domain name based on a keyword. Now, when you're searching, again, you can use these extensions if you add these extensions when you go to GoDaddy to buy it, then you're just going to probably create a brand name. I'm talking about if you really want it to be a legitimate keyword, you'll do some experimenting with these extensions when you're at the Google keyword tool. Because then you might get you're going to get more variations that are that you might even see some of these. You might see Google recommend some of these. You'll see it. You'll see Google recommend, website. You'll see that people think of this. This is our society. These are words that people think of. They don't think of these. Remember, those are things that's what you think as a product creator. Isn't that funny? It's like the difference between a brand. It's the difference between supply and demand. Isn't that interesting? It's like this is the demand and this is the supply. Isn't that interesting? All right, so anyway, so based on the keyword, if you find, you'll see the numbers, the actual amounts of searches that people are, if it says 300,000, that means 300,000 people searched for that. Well, might not, because it might be one person might have done 10 times. I don't even know how that works, but it's a good indicator of what's going on with that. I'll tell you right now, hip hop beats. 50,000, 100,000, not many, and that's the site that made me millions, Well, I mean, that site by itself didn't make millions, but it was my first big, it was my first bang, and that was the first month that, towards the end of the first month that I started, So I owe it a lot to that site, really. That was the exact, keyword that was responsible for it, and it was only 100,000 searches a month. So that gives you an idea, gettingpregnant.org, and that was, again, without any website, so it really had a disadvantage, but it still sold for 5,000 because it had 300,000 searches. So it helps if something has, a few dozen thousand, it helps if something has 100,000 searches, okay? Well, here, it's right here. Look, the way you would then value the site or the domain by itself, now you're adding the element of keyword, would be 0.3% of the search volume, okay? And that's, I don't know, maybe $3,000 for a site that, gets 300,000 searches, okay? And I based that off of gettingpregnant.org. And I brought it down a little bit as an average because just to be fair, he contacted me out of the blue, and it's not something that happens every day. So that's why I brought it down. But remember, I think he lowballed me. I mean, this thing is big because I'm constantly underestimating it. As I told you with the student who just totally proved me wrong. I mean, I'm supposed to be his teacher, and I have a student come and tell me that he's making more money than I estimated he would make with it. So it was a good feeling, but at the same time, it shows you how much I underestimate this model. It is what it is. It's real estate. So it's so gratifying. You know, I mean, you're going to find that, you know, what you put into this, you do get back, and you get tenfold, and it's pretty much guaranteed. I mean, you know, you're investing in internet real estate. So, all right. So anyway, let's continue to talk about traffic, and I'll have another sip of the Red Bull. All right. So now, let's say you start to get traffic. You use our traffic tool, okay? And it's pretty self-explanatory. If you guys have any questions on how to use it, come to class and we'll talk about it. Basically, you can just follow the couple videos I have there, and you'll find that, you know, there's a browser at the top, and it's only going to get websites that allow you to post on them. It filters, you choose by the keyword, and you can put any keyword you want in there. You'll find out that it's very, ambidextrous, what's the word for that? Versatile. And, you know, you put in any keyword in there and you press the button and you'll find sites that you can post to. And of course, you know, they also, there's another parameter in there that lets us know if it's just a garbage site. It follows the multiple APIs, one of which follows how much traffic a site gets. So we know how much traffic a site gets. We know that we can post on it, and we know that it's in that niche and it's following the keywords. There you go. That's all you needed is. And you know, if not traffic, if you don't do enough of it, or if you're in a weird niche where the results aren't as good as other niches, then it's great for backlinks. Those sites are definitely definitely includes some higher page rank sites, some sites that are going to be pretty responsive to yours. So, I mean, of course, and this goes for, it's to the point where it might not even get traffic, but remember in the other diagram I had explained, when you go and do your flip a listing to try to sell the domain name, include the information, include all of the backlinks. You know, say we have links here, and you know, you could take a screenshot if you begin to get traffic from those sites, take a screenshot of that and show the traffic, because remember this is like free money right here. If you use the tool and you get backlinks and you're getting 1,000 hits a month, now you get to add that on to your previous values, okay? So you say to yourself, I've got a keyword domain, okay, 300,000 searches. So, you know, and it's tricky to find a domain name like that. It's not like the easiest thing in the world, but if you do, okay, and you know, give yourself an hour. I'm not saying it'll take, you know, 8 hours. You don't need to search for 8 hours. Search for a good hour and write a list of everything that's available and get the best one. You know, it's $12. And you'll be happy you did, because then you have all of these options of what you can do with it. So anyway, you take the, you know, you have the search volume, so it's 3,000, all right? You want to do the 3,000 thing. And if you want to sell it fast, you take one of these out. You know, you say, hey, you know what? I won't even count that. We'll just go by the traffic. You know, that's when it goes quick. You know, but if you want to get the most out of it, if you're patient, you know, the more impatient you are, the less you sell it for. Okay, but that with it, let's keep with this script. Let's assume, you know what? Let's assume that we are doing this $100. We did a logo for it. We bought a keyword domain name, okay? So we bought something that gets 300,000 searches, like gettingpregnant.org. We built a blog. Say let's do a WordPress blog. We did a logo, okay? So $100 3,000 bucks. We're at 3,100 bucks so far, okay? Next, traffic. How much traffic does it get? It gets 1,000 bucks, 1,000 a month. Add another 1,000 to that, 4,100 bucks, okay? That would probably go, because when you get to the traffic, if you have a site built and you're getting traffic, then you're talking that. Remember, if you didn't have that keyword domain name and you had a brand name, remember you're going to have to take off 3,000. You might want to, I don't know, because you built the site and the logo and the brand name and it's getting traffic, I don't want to just say it's worth 1,000 bucks. I really don't. It's funny how traffic changes things. I would say, let's add another 500 bucks because of the traffic. Let's go more towards this $2.